How's it going, everybody? Biome Blade here. So yeah, I survived Hurricane Milton, and I'm about to make it, well, a few people's problems. Mainly starting with this particular group known as, well, the Confederacy of United Modders. Yeah, I know, I'm talking about them again. I know I said that my last video on Shadow Raven Studios was going to be the last video on him, and to an extent that still is true. After all, he is a little bit of a lesser problem within this particular video, although he is still going to be mentioned because unfortunately he is part of this group and he is pulling some weird shenanigans right now that involve, well, wouldn't you believe it, targeted harassment. But of course, we'll get to that when we actually get to it. So of course, even though I did say that that was going to be my last video on Shadow Raven Studios, I never really said that it was going to be my last video on this stupid schism currently going on in the Fallout New Vegas modding community. Despite the fact that I'm not the most invested in the Fallout New Vegas or its modding community, oddly enough, I do in fact feel a relative need to at least defend people who are in fact innocent. Call it compassion, if you will. You know, the willingness to at least help somebody in need when they are very clearly in need and are still under attack, even after what seems to be about a year according to them, and of course for me, about the past like 5 or so months. So yes, we're going to be talking about this Confederacy of United Modders, and it's mainly going to be a little bit of an updated list of individuals now that I know a little bit more information about each of them. However, I will in fact state that some of this information is a little bit more alleged, but of course it does in fact come from a couple of various inside sources of mine, both of which have requested to remain anonymous, and I will of course respect that. You see, unlike certain anonymous sources that the Confederacy might have, the anonymous sources that I have actually, 1, exist, and 2, have a reason to remain anonymous. It's because they want to remain anonymous because they are currently about as deep in this situation as they possibly can get, and, well, you get my point. But at least they provide evidence whenever it is necessary, and of course I will provide that. So of course, if you don't see a screenshot over whatever it is I'm talking about, consider what I say to be relatively alleged for the most part, unless it's something that I've already previously confirmed, of course. So let's get started here. So, funnily enough, the first person on our list here is none other than Crimson Gray, the man with the failing voice acting channel that exists. Now, of course, well, Crimson Gray is, of course, one of the, failed writers slash voice actors for the old Fallout Ashfall mod. He, of course, has now dedicated his life to basically trying to, well, start rumors about Ashfall Dude being bisexual and trans and whatever else. Now, of course, the rumors and theories that I've at least heard about why this could be the case are, of course, because he's super straight, which, of course, could explain why he, for some reason, decided to freak out about trans memes existing within the Fallout Ashfall Discord server while Ashfall Dude was actually still the project lead. But, of course, even within these screenshots, he's claiming that he is, in fact, part of the LGBT community, unless he, for some reason, considers super straight as part of the LGBT community, which of course just wouldn't even make any sense to me. It's just an entirely messy thing to try and understand in the first place, but of course with that kind of insight into it, it honestly wouldn't surprise me. And of course these kinds of rumors of Ashfall Dude being trans, and being trans being a problem because super straights seem to think that being trans is like a fetish or something along those lines, basically ended up spreading like wildfire among this Confederation, and of course ended up turning into, well, whatever God's good name the current rumor is right now about Ashfall Dude. And trust me, it only gets weirder from here. But on top of that too, a few other interesting little tidbits I've at least heard about Crimson Gray is, of course, that he also doesn't really take kindly to criticism. In fact, sees criticism as a personal attack to him, and seems to view anybody who criticizes him or even, slights him in any way as some sort of, supervillain of his or something along those lines. Which I guess kind of explains why, at least from what I've heard, he wasn't very happy about my comment of his voice acting channel basically being in the fucking gutter. Whoops. I really couldn't care less. But anyways, that's enough about Crimson. Let us move on to someone that we are already all familiar with. Surprisingly enough, no, it's not Shadow Raven. It is Out Monty, the failed writer for the Fallout Ashfall project back when Ashfall Dude was still the project lead. Now, of course, the one thing that is in fact known is that both Out Monty and Crimson Gray basically worked on the absolutely abysmal and unnecessary trailer for the Fallout Ashfall mod back when, again, Ashfall Dude was the project lead, and back when the Ashfall team actually gave a shit about trying to create a fucking mod, and weren't just a bunch of drama whores trying to make up as much shit as humanly possible just to keep them, meaningless drama going. Yes, that's right. Apparently the allegations that Cell Block Psycho keeps on going off about in regards to Ashfall Dude are largely just because he wants to try and keep this flaccid drama going so that way he doesn't have to work on the fucking mod that he's now the project lead for. Funny how that works. But that's enough about that. Let's actually get back into All Out Monty. We already know about his secret channels that he used to have, the How to Exist channels. We already know about his, weird proclivities, but of course the fact that he was probably one of the first ones to start hearing these rumors, it basically caused it to suddenly spiral out of control into something extremely weird, and it's a whole lot of weird stuff. Like, for example, messages like this being said about Ashfall Dude, while also at the exact same time creating a new Ashfall server with the server icon, once again, like I mentioned in the previous video, being the one joke that any transphobe has that isn't just making fun of genders or something along those lines. You know, the one other joke that they have? Yeah, that one. That's the one that I'm talking about here. And supposedly, again, this is alleged, I have to point this out, All Out Monty is like in a weird love-hate relationship with, Ashfall Dude. Like, he is strangely infatuated with the guy, while at the exact same time wishing for his downfall because, well, he didn't like a fucking trailer. Yeah, I know. Again, I have to point this out. This all started because two fuckwits weren't being given enough attention and made an unnecessary trailer and couldn't handle when that information was given to them that the trailer that they made that was unnecessary was in fact an unnecessarily made fucking trailer. And was not just unnecessary, but was also fucking terrible at the exact same time. But anyways, with that out of the way, let us now move on to... Next up is none other than Abram. I only did a brief mention of him within the last time that I covered some of the individuals within this Confederation, but I've learned a few more things that kind of give a little bit further insight into some of the weird-ass rumors that were spreading around, especially during the earlier days of this particular situation. And of course, well, that weird thing that I ended up learning is, of course, well, Abram is a bit of a gooner, to put it very simply. Again, a lot of this is alleged. Allegedly, he's even made, like, weird fanfictions involving him and Ashfall Dude for whatever reason, which I find to be just fucking disgusting. Regardless of whether or not he was even on Ashfall Dude's side or not, I would just think that that was weird, especially making that kind of shit without his consent. But whatever at this point. I don't think these guys even believe what consent is. They probably think that's a type of spice. But anyways. But another thing is probably because of that probably led to a lot of the weird-ass rumors that started to circulate largely around me, funnily enough. In fact, it was probably him that started the entire rumor of me and Ashfall Dude apparently secretly dating because these people think that I'm trans. At this point, I'm just more curious as to what kind of trans they think I am. A trans guy, a trans girl? I'm genuinely confused at this fucking point. But it would, in fact, make, like, the fourth person, I think, at this point, that believed that I was trans for whatever reason. Which I don't know, am I? I'm still not even sure myself. But in all seriousness, this guy is just genuinely fucking weird. And the thing is that he kept on messaging me, like, days after I had already released my video that was briefly featuring him, basically claiming that everything that I said was apparently a lie and that he supposedly had proof, but he provided none, funnily enough. He provided no proof other than screenshots that I had already fucking seen from other individuals that basically prove him wrong. I cannot believe that this actually is where we're currently at, that we're dealing with a bunch of morons that are discrediting themselves within their own methods of trying to clear their name. I wish I was making this shit up. But anyways, now we move on to... Oh boy, Sneedclave Anonymous. Someone who is, at best, very fucking misguided considering the fact that the current, I guess, like, leads for the Ashfall team, at least according to Good Guy Dave, absolutely hate the LGBT community for whatever reason. That, and of course, also the, Confederation themselves also seem to hate them because, again, this all started because they thought that Ashfall Dude was bisexual and trans, and they seem to think that that is the one thing that he talks about. And trust me, I'll get into my own, I guess, experiences with Ashfall Dude, although, to be honest, any of my experiences with Ashfall Dude are already just experiences that you could probably see in, like, live streams and whatnot, but whatever. Sneedanon is someone that is a very unique character, constantly unblocking me in order to message me with other flaccid demands, just so that way he can block me again for whatever reason, and then proceed to make some more shit up. Like, for example, claiming that, Ashfall Dude is apparently in a Fallout server in order to harass the developers, while showing absolutely no evidence of Ashfall Dude being in there to do so. And, of course, also showing an inspect-elemented message from me claiming that I support transphobia. Again, I feel like if you know anything about me, you know that this entire, you know that this is just dumb as hell, especially considering the fact that I've literally shown off my DM conversations with this guy in the past, and in no way have I ever claimed that I supposedly support transphobia. In fact, I'm probably one of the biggest haters of transphobia out there, okay? Imagine Drake is transphobia, and I'm Kendrick Lamar. That's basically what it is at this point. But of course, and I'm not even sure if it's needed on that's doing this, but I feel like I might as well at least throw this in here since we're already kind of nearing the end of the video anyways, and the main reason why I'm even making this video is largely because, well, funnily enough, our good, edgy Corvid friend is now going around into various Discord servers that supposedly Ashfall Dude is in order to basically try and, demand answers, threaten the owners, and try to get Ashfall Dude banned from said servers for whatever reason, and also has went to harassing some of the old members of the Ashfall team for whatever reason, to obviously no avail, because, well, at this point, he's probably already infamous among the old Ashfall team as just being a bit of a fucking moron at this point. Overall, I feel like there's really no end to this situation, and even whenever I try to cover something that isn't, about Shadow Raven, he still ends up coming up because he is, of course, inexplicably linked with this stupid harassment campaign. A harassment campaign that, mind you, according to Ashfall Dude, has been going for about an entire year at this point, and has escalated to the point where now it is, well, just quite literally targeted harassment just because they hate him for whatever reason. At this point, I wouldn't even be surprised if they've forgotten why they don't like the man anymore. It's just more of a method for them to dig their own grave at this point. That's really all I have to say. But anyways, that's gonna have to do it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a like, that's very well appreciated. Leave a comment down below what you thought about the video, which I'll me to talk about next, and also subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want to see more content such as this. Also, go ahead and follow me on Twitter and join the Discord server down below if you feel like doing so. And, yeah. Anyways, guys, it's been Sandy, and have yourselves a nice day.